All right, Coach, can you
Good.
talk a little bit about practice?
Yeah, I thought tonight was a really, really good practice. I thought we came out tonight. I thought there was a lot of energy. It's game week, which was good to see. You know, the guys very excited about game week. You know, again, it was very high intensity in terms of offense and defense. Did a lot of good work against each other. You could tell that game week is kind of upon us now. So again, it was what I consider to be a very good practice.
What were sort of your focuses tonight?
Well, we did a lot of third and long work tonight. We did some blitz pickup tonight, and again, tried to do some red zone work. But you know, again, in that sense, it was still a lot of good ones versus twos or twos versus ones. So did do a whole lot of scout work tonight. Again, trying to get the speed of the game and really try to play a good bit against each other.
Can you talk about the situation at center?
Well, I'll kind of go over the whole, you know, last week we talked about us getting close on the offensive line. So we've got we're going to get you guys the two deep Tuesday all the way through. But offensive line-wise right now, we're going to start Tunde at center. We're going to start Avery Young at tackle. Him and Greg Robinson will be the starting tackles. We're going to start with John Sullivan and Chad Slade at the guards, backed up by Alex Kozan and Christian Westerman. And the tackles being backed up by Sean Coleman and Patrick Miller. So we've kind of solidified that. And again, the backup center for the game will be John Sullivan. If anything happens to Tunde, so that's kind of the rotation we started to work tonight.
Is Sean on the left side?
Yes. And again, those guys are somewhat interchangeable as well.
And most times, offensive line is not a place where there's a lot of rotation. Do you think that could change a little bit because there's been so many guys kind of in and out that you might move some guys around?
Well, we're hoping, Jason, to keep it solid. You know, keep it as solid as we can, because again, our focus has been, you know, in the last probably 3 practices, today being 4. You know, we tried to really solidify these guys at those positions that I just mentioned. So there was a lot of, you know, musical chairs early trying to figure out, you know, the guards and tackles and things of that nature. But, you know, over the course of the last, you know, 3 practices or so, we really tried to zero in on keeping guys stationary in their places. So that's really what we've been working on the last 3 days, and it really hasn't changed.
So with Sean on the twos, he must have really come along this preseason.
Well, I'm proud of Sean. You know, he's still got a long way to go. There's no question about that. And obviously with any position, whether it's a guard or a tackle, if somebody, you know, gets hurt or whatnot, you know, we're going to put in the next best player. And so, you know, that could in the rotation make things a little different. But to the best of our ability, we're going to try to really solidify and work those positions with those guys.
Tunde being there through the spring and also through the preseason, how much does it help that he's a guy that has stayed pretty much the center the whole time?
Well, it really has helped, you know, and again, we've got a lot of confidence in him, and you know, everybody has got to step up their level of play everywhere, obviously. But I think Tunde's excited about, you know, the opportunity, you know, that's presented itself, and he's you know, he's going to study the game, and he's got a really a great week to prepare. And like I said, we have a lot of faith in him.
Have you decided on the length of suspension for Reese?
We have not. You know, as I've said with other players in the past, you know, if you see him out there, you'll know that he's done all the things we've asked him to do, but he's not playing this weekend.
I guess another help for Tunde in the middle is having really your 2 experienced guys on each side of him. That an advantage for him having Sullivan and Slade.
Well, that's kind of, you know, that was kind of our line of thinking, that, you know, Chad's played a lot of football even though he's still young. John's a senior. He's played a lot of football. So, you know, again, it's in terms of the communication that has to go on up and down the line. You know, those 2 guys at guards are good communicators, not only just for the center but the tackles as well. When you're starting 2 freshman tackles that have never played, you know, in a college football game. So, you know, those guys, you know, those are 2 solid. You know, that's kind of the solid foundation of our offensive line, simply because they have some experience.
In the secondary, I know you guys have been having some pretty good battles. Have you sorted it out? Who's probably going to start?
Well, we're getting closer on that. Again, you know, we'll give you the whole, you know, we'll give you the whole 2 deep Tuesday, but we're coming down to the end of that as well. But no final decisions yet.
Was there ever any decision after the whole deal this weekend, or any thought to someone other than Toon being the guy at center, or was he automatically the guy, was he the guy that you guys were going with no matter what?
Well, there were some other possibilities in there that obviously could have presented themselves in terms of talking through everything. You know, we've got Alex Kozan, who's a young guard we think is going to be a very good player. Christian Westerman, who's also, you know, redshirt freshman. So you got a true freshman and a redshirt freshman. Both of them have improved. Both of them were competing for a guard spot. So if you move John Sullen over, and, you know, if that happened during the football game where John Sullen had to move over to center, then you've got Christian Westerman and you've got Alex Kozan, who have really done a nice job improving, you know, battling for a spot all through training camp as well. So one of those guys would probably, you know, be the next, you know, the next man up. And again, we would put the guy in there that we think is the next best player. It doesn't mean that he's a right guard or a left guard. You know, it'd be the next best guy.